Errol Spence versus Shawn Porter. Now, this is a good fight. I'll admit that I haven't really been as invested with this fight as I have at least not with the Garcia fight. And I think it's because my perception of Shawn Porter, I think, I'm hoping, a little bit unfair. I think I don't really feel that Shawn Porter is at an elite level, which again kind of dictates the temperament for the rest of this video. I am picking Errol Spence in this quite comfortably, and I should say that this comes with an advisory that I've picked against Porter almost every time I've seen him fight at a world kind of title level. I picked him to lose against Brook, which in that case he did, and I was absolutely 100% convinced he would lose to Danny Garcia, obviously. And that was kind of predicated against the fact that I'd never really enjoyed watching Garcia. I think it's because he'd kind of decapitated Amir Khan, and I was quite a big Amir Khan fan back in the day. And not so much now. I think that's probably the same for most fans as well. A little bit unsavory nowadays. But after Garcia took apart Lucas Matisse, and I picked Matisse to win that quite comfortably, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I was pretty convinced that Matisse would just destroy Garcia. I did not expect Garcia to come out and box the way he did. So when he was matching up against Shawn Porter, who for me, I would have liked to see Shawn Porter and Lucas Matisse. I think that would have been a really good fight when Matisse was in his prime. The ages don't really match up probably so well, but I think that would have been a very interesting fight. However, so I'd picked Matisse. He lost. So when Garcia came up against Shawn Porter, I was like, well, this is an easy fight for Garcia. There's nothing that Porter can really do here that Garcia hasn't already seen before, and Garcia hits like a truck. I was quite convinced I thought Garcia might actually knock out Shawn Porter, and obviously he didn't. That isn't the way the fight went. It didn't pan out as I envisioned it to. And to be fair, I think a lot of people were picking Garcia to win that fight. He was undefeated. It just felt like he had more. But obviously, Shawn Porter rewrote the script, and for me, I think that felt like an upset. I don't remember what the odds were, but that felt like an upset to me. So going into this fight again, I've always been high on Errol Spence. I'd picked Errol Spence in my mind to beat Kell Brook. I thought what Spence does very well is his volume. He's relentless. I mean, I think he threw over 1,000 punches against Mickey Garcia. And I guess the immediate retort to that will be, yeah, well, he's half his size. Of course, it's easy to throw hands when the guy is half the size. But what was interesting about the Garcia fight was that Spence showed a different side of him that I hadn't expected to see in the fight. He boxed the shorter guy at range. Now, he threw a beautiful jab against Brook. And I think the jab he threw against Brook was kind of unheralded, and I don't think it got as much attention as it should have. Because he was stepping into it, and he was stepping inside with a jab, which as far as I'm concerned is kind of boxing 101 if you're an inside fighter. Instead of just running inside, you're jabbing your way in there. And that's exactly what he did, and to me he was getting into kind of Brook's kind of kitchen very, very easily. And obviously, Brook was trying to kind of maneuver out and ended up on the ropes, and Spence was unloading at will, kind of mid to late rounds. So I think that now that Spence has shown us this new dynamic, and obviously he's a southpaw anyway, which is always awkward to fight. He's a southpaw, he throws a lot of hands, he throws really whipping body shots. And actually, when he comes in close, there's that kind of messy clinch, and he's kind of throwing left, right hook to the body, then he'll throw this huge left up top that kind of comes out of nowhere, and I think it can catch boxers completely unaware, because you're moments from kind of tying up, or you're just about, it's just that kind of, when boxers maybe are a little bit vulnerable. Well, Spence doesn't see this as time for a breather. He sees this as time to throw hands again, and they're accurate, fast, accurate, hard sweeping shots, but also with the opportunity of boxing at range behind a beautiful jab. Now, Porter he's sudden, he can be kind of a distance, and again, he's jumping in and he's in your kitchen, and he's causing you issues. Whether or not he can, because Spence is big at the weight. I think Porter's quite big at the weight as well, to be fair. I think this might be quite a messy fight. There might be quite a lot of kind of it might get messy. I'm not sure. It depends if Spence chooses to come inside and kind of, collapses the pocket, or if he decides to keep Porter at range. I think he'll keep him at range behind the jab and just kind of 1-2s. I think he could do that quite easy. And when Porter comes in, he's going to kind of check left hook kind of thing. I think there's a lot of opportunity. There's far more opportunity here for Brooke. Sorry, for Errol Spence than there is for Shawn Porter. The only way I can see Shawn Porter winning really is just out-muscling. And the thing is that Spence does that anyway. Spence tends to use his body weight quite a lot. He's very clever, he's very shrewd. And I know that Porter can get quite dirty with the head and the elbows, and he can make it a real kind of street fight. But I don't think there's anything that he can show you or show Porter that Porter has never seen before. I'm quite heavy on Porter in this. And again, my history says that whenever I'm really quite convinced something's going to happen, that isn't usually what happens. I'm usually strongest when it's quite a close fight. I can usually maneuver a win there with picks and style analysis. But usually when I see a clear winner, that doesn't always pan out so well for me. But I guess we have to go with our instinct. And I think this is I think it's Porter's fight to kind of try and wrestle a victory from. But I think Spence just has to be Spence, and he wins. I don't think, now that he's shown us this, as I said, this new dynamic, he can box, he can step inside. I can't see him stopping Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter's a bit like a tank. He's just relentless. Unless it could be a Mayweather, Ricky Hatton style. Again, that check left took exactly what I'm talking about. A very similar punch now I'm thinking about it. Now, obviously, Spence is a southpaw, and his lead hand is his right hand. So it could be a check right hook. But again, he could just step and swivel away and then catch Porter with a left hook as he's kind of coming in and almost kind of going past him. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think it can't fail to be anything less than high volume, because Spence alone throws a lot of punches. I'm excited. It's going to be a good fight. I wish both guys good luck. But let's be honest. If Errol Spence wins this, please, 50-50 with Terence Bud Crawford. I don't care. Both networks can have it. I don't care. Please, 50-50. Just do it. No more excuses. Terence Crawford's getting older by the day, as we all are, but he's probably moving out of his prime. And maybe Spence knows this, I'm not sure, and it's probably a discussion for a separate video, but just make the fight happen. And I'm getting way ahead of myself. Maybe Porter upsets the apple cart. And if he does, then I'll look forward to the rematch. But I think Spence is just too technical, too clean, too fast, too high volume. But let's wait and see.